and I'm already in envy of the setup, by the way. It's top tier, I've got to say.
Well, the funny thing is that when I started and I learned to live stream during the first lockdown. It was when everyone started to work from home. I didn't even know what Zoom was. And actually, from my spare bedroom, I did my first like 20 or 30 kind of interviews. And it gradually you get better and better, and you have different setups. Then I moved to a bigger office, which I got free from a client. But then I wanted to really up my game still. And what you can't see, but you might see if you look at some of the social media, this setup was probably like 20, 30,000 pounds worth of like kit and sound blankets and lighting, and even this microphone and all the stuff. It was like 500 quid, and but it grows. But because for me, streaming and podcasting, and that is such a key part of amplifying your message, I think it's still money well worth spending for almost any business, because it's a way to hit thousands and thousands of people, arguably for free once you've kind of set up. And just on LinkedIn Live, when I do my kind of interviews, or every Friday I do a live Q&A, which is a different kind of setup, it goes out to 19,000 people. And if I was to pay to advertise to 19,000 people who are business leaders in the sector, you're talking tens of thousands of pounds. So to be able to do it under my own control, under my own steam, whenever I want, is an absolute dream. So yes, I did kind of go all in on the setup, but actually I think it's a wise business investment for anyone.
No, it's beautiful, and it's definitely on my my goal list. Not for this
Well,
year, but maybe a few years to get a good founder session set up. I think that'll be amazing.
I must say, your friend Tam Shed reached out to me before, and he was asking me about podcast setups. But you don't have to start with anything fancy. You could start with just your mobile phone, and that's it. But the more time and effort you want to put into it, it's marginal gains. So if you kept doubling the amount of money that you put into your setup, you're not going to notice that much of a difference. But I think for a lot of founders, same as whatever your business is, if you do it because you enjoy it, you don't mind. So for me, this is a hobby. That even that sign in the background, that was 1,300 quid, which was custom made for my logo. But it's part of selling the dream. And when I do YouTube and that kind of thing, it's the details that I think people notice over time is what makes the difference between people that are internationally successful with their business or startup, or people that float into the distance and disappear. And that's the thing for me, is that when you have a business or a mission or something that you're really passionate about, one way that you may choose to kind of talk about it and amplify it is through doing founder sessions or whatever. But actually, it's an important part. And when people actually see your brand and see it reflected in the video and the sound and whatever, it tells you a lot about your company and stuff. And, it doesn't have to be perfect from day one. And I've got ambitions to really upscale this again still for next year. But you got to start somewhere, and it's fun. And, the really important thing is actually to do with the content. If you had the best setup in the world, but the content was crap, nobody's going to care. But if you can talk about genuine value that people are interested in, they actually don't care if the quality is not very good, technically, if it's of interest. And that's the big thing that I think most people get wrong, is that they worry too much about the lighting, the cameras, the setups, when actually it's about what you talk about. And I think that's why your kind of YouTube series was really good, just talking about general day-to-day stuff that you're doing. And it's more, anyway, about that kind of thing. But hopefully, yes, it's and you're always welcome to come and have a look around and see it in person.
Oh, brilliant.